this morning the technology innovations in shrimp culture and culture experiences in Negros during the COVID-19 crisis. Okay, so the outline of my lecture is strategic plans and contingency measures of the cooperative for its growers. Then this is profile from first, actually it's already third quarter of 2020. Then culture experiences during the COVID-19 crisis, and I will also discuss on vibriosis because ito ngayon yung parang pinaka common problem dito, hindi masyado ang white spot. From January to September 2020, then culture techniques and management measures, anong ginawa namin to reduce or mitigate high vibrio parahemolyticus. And then I will also be sharing technology innovation, especially in our place, and also the current status of the industry, price trends, culture practices, and also our industry concerns. Okay, so last March 18, 2020, as part of the cooperative strategic plans for its growers, the co-op called an emergency meeting for the growers to guide them kung ano yung gagawin. Okay, so most of the growers decided to stock 50% of the area during that time, that was March. And then because of the uncertainties, no, because of the pandemic, then concerns in existing stock inventory were raised, and one option is to extend the culture period. So ito yung mga growers namin, mga directors, tsaka we also invite some buyers. And then the direct or the board coordinated with local buyers, local processing plants for possible shipment to Manila. Kasi during this meeting, is ECQ dito. And also monitor special flights kasi may mga once a week na flight na parang effort ng provincial government dun sa mga locally stranded individuals. Okay. I called up Abby kung magsasara kami. Sabi niya hindi pwede. Kasi dapat i-back up yung food security. So despite of the ECQ, yung mga staff, we operated leanly. So continued operation of the lab to back up production and food security per advice of BIFAR Central Office. Masunurin kami sa BIFAR. So kahit na mahirap, andito pa rin kami. Then this is profile from January to September 15, 2020. So this was updated this week. Okay. So we have checked 683 samples, and if you'd notice, konting-konti lang yung mga white spot positive, no? But take note of the red fonts na mga numbers. This reflect yung mga positive sa Vibrio parahemolyticus but negative sa EMS. Pero may mga mortalities kami sa PANS, no? Because of the very high BP, although hindi naman siya EMS, but the population is alarming. Okay. Sa ano to, summer months, March, April, May. Then, unti-unting nag-lower down ang numbers. Okay, so let's go to shrimp culture experiences dito during the pandemic. Okay, sa fry quality, we found out that quality is not consistent during summer months. No? Some batches have very high Vibrio parahemolyticus readings and majority are green Vibrio colonies. So ito yun. Usually nasa PL 8, 9, and 10. So the hatcheries has still the time para mag-mend ng ano nila or to implement corrective measures no before the stocking age ng mga TL 10 to 12. Okay. So, ito yung major namin na disease, I would say, from March to September 2020, yung very high Vibrio parahemolyticus. Usually, nasa DOC 28 to 25, ang observed mortalities high in the water and also in the animals. Stocking densities ranges from 80 to 200 pieces per square meter, kahit na earthen and plastic lined ponds were affected. And usually based on data, yung late February to April yung marami talaga ang count. Next, just to give you briefing or parang refresher kung ano yung Vibrio. Okay, it is an organism or a bacteria adapting to the environment, usually sa very high salinity. It can infect aquatic animals and cause economic losses in the aquaculture industry worldwide. We could attest to that because there was a farm just like last April na mga bagong stock yung ano niya, hindi na naka-reach ng 40 days. Bali, gradual ang namamatay but significant every day. Then ang ending is inabort na lang yung stock because hindi na masyadong economical to continue the culture. Next, prevalence of Vibrio parahemolyticus infection is 41% in shrimp in aquaculture farms and potentially infectious. Potentially, but this is not the strain na yung sa humans. Iba yung sa, is it, Abby? Sa aqua. So, ito yung ginagamit namin for checking the Vibrio parahemolyticus. We use the chrome agar, no? Ito, mahal to. Yung 1 kilo cost around mga near 10,000. Okay. So, ito yung mga parang pink na colors. So, in the chrome agar, this is the Vibrio parahemolyticus, yung pink, light pink. Then the rest are the volnificus or coloratior blue, and the alginolyticus, this is colorless or sometimes pale white. So, sa lab, especially sa shrimps, ang ginagamit namin is 3 media, no? For nutrient agar, for total plate count, or total bacterial count, and luminous bacterial count. Then we also use the TCBS to distinguish the green and the yellow vibrios and also to check on the total vibrio count. Plus now, we also have the chrome agar for Vibrio parahemolyticus. So marami kaming samples because the growers now, parang ano na sila, they develop the habit na pag less than 40 days, dapat weekly na yung samples nila for bacterial analysis. So ito yung one case dito, FGS shrimp farm. This is R2 means reservoir. R2 reservoir water. So you would notice yung maraming mga pink na color na colonies. So sa reservoir pa lang mataas na yung vibrio count ng water, Vibrio parahemolyticus. Then what about the soil? Yung soil meron ding konti but not as much as the reservoir. So meaning yung Vibrio parahemolyticus came from the source. Okay. So, ito yung, if you could remember the last slide, reservoir 2 has high Vibrio parahemolyticus. Yung salinity niya is 37 to 39 ppt, meaning that's peak of summer months. Then, ang animals that time, yung ano niya is 2.0 times 10 to the fourth colony forming units per animal. Yung Vibrio parahemolyticus, negative sa luminous bacteria. But also, take note, it's 99.42% green, meaning most of the Vibrio population is VP. So that's very alarming. That's why may mga mortality sa ponds. So it is also advisable sa lab na marunong silang mag-correlate ng results or interpret the results for a meaningful recommendation. So we have the animal. So this is 2 days before chlorination. Then 1 day before na-abort yung stocks
Yung proposal lang, proposal on.
prior to chlorination. Okay. So, yung count is 1.3 times 10 to the fifth. No, that's very, very high. And the water is also very high. And also, majority are the green colonies, negative of luminous bacteria. Next, what about the soil? No, the soil also is positive sa Vibrio parahemolyticus. So in this pond na maraming mortalities, yung soil, yung water, and shrimps, they had all very high Vibrio parahemolyticus load. So it's no longer surprising bakit namamatay yung shrimps. Then, and also this area is positive sa EMS, sa AFEN. Then after chlorination, i-check namin uli yung water, the Vibrio parahemolyticus lowered down to 8 times 10 to the first, but hindi nawawala, no? Then the soil also positive pa rin, but nag-lower na ang count. So what does this mean? Dapat before stocking, mawawala to. So it entails a rigorous pond preparation should the grower decided to stock again. Okay. Next, another option of the grower is to use a deep well with salinity, which is 16 ppt. So despite of the red numbers here, which are not so high, which are also high, there were no mortalities in the pond. But in the water, it's 90.57%, 88 something percent here. So I think ang salinity also matters, di ba? Kahit kung 37 to 30, so 36 to 37, marami yung mga salt particles sa water. So given high temperature, kay peak ng summer, so that's growing shrimps in adverse condition, di ba? Yung temperature is much yung effect niya, high temperature, if the salt content in the salt particles niya hindi masyadong high, because this is deep well, it's only 16 ppt. Yung stress factor, despite the positive na VP, hindi siya masyadong na-affect yung animal. So ito yung ponds na to, they were harvested profitably. Okay. So, ito yung ponds with 37 ppt salinity, yung summary, total bacterial count, mean of 3.3 times 10 to the fourth colony forming units per ml. Yung mean ng total Vibrio count is 1.3 times 10 to the third. And yellow colony is 51.56%, and the green ones, 48 only. Then for the luminous, it's not detected, but take note that the Vibrio parahemolyticus is 10 to the second, which means this is the possible cause or source of the Vibrio parahemolyticus inside the farm. So what does this mean? Dapat yung reservoir, yung water quality, sure na negative siya or less ang count, and disinfected before entry sa ponds. Now, what about the deep well? Ang profile niya, total bacterial count is it's only 280. and negative sa Vibrio, sa yellow and green, sa luminous, and also Vibrio para hemolyticus. So, the conclusion na yung liver, sa liver galing yung VP is already valid. Okay, so the funds na may mga mortalities, yung Vibrio parahemolyticus niya, ito yung mga counts, no, greater than 10,000 to 50,000 sa 5 to 7 grams at less than 45 DOC and so forth. So ito yung may mga mortalities based on results. Okay. So, outbreaks may occur when environmental factors trigger the rapid multiplication of bacteria. So, ano yung mga environmental factors? So, we have already a high temperature, no? Already tolerated at low levels within the shrimp blood or by bacterial penetration of host barriers, especially during the molting process. Next, mortalities due to vibrosis occur when shrimps are stressed by factors. So it could be high in temperature, high in ammonia, or sudden plankton die-off. Okay, so it could be a synergy of factors. Okay, so poor water quality, overcrowding, high water temperature, low DO, and low water exchange. Okay, so what are the identified factors based on results that triggered high Vibrio parahemolyticus in the ponds in Negros? So 6 ponds were documented, the same farm, the same area. The calcium and magnesium concentrations in the water are low. So there is a calcium magnesium imbalance, or the ratio is not the advice or optimum ratio. Then low alkalinity, the buffering capacity of the water to wider fluctuations in pH is very poor. So yung pH ng umaga is like 7.5, pag hapon it will rise to 9 or even higher than 9. Then 2 ponds in the same area have high ammonia and nitrite, very high pH, and also interviewing the technician, minadali yung pond prep, no? So ito yung group of stress factor that triggered the rise in Vibrio parahemolyticus that caused the mortalities in the pond. Okay. So ito na yung summary ng stress factors. And also, sudden rains, yung mainit na mainit, tapos uulan, yung heavy downpours. So ito din yun yung pinaka-strong na stress factor, given also other stresses in the pond na present like mineral imbalance and low alkalinity, tapos uulan. So sudden effects of rain on a hot weather, where we have the direct effect. 5 to 6 degrees lower than the environment, much lower if it is associated with massive low pressure system o kung may mga typhoons. Then it can cause pH of 6.2 to 6.4 because of sulfuric acid, no? Diba sa pag matagal na hindi umuulan, acidic yung rain. Then salinity and hardness also decrease because there is a dilution effect. Kasi 'di ba wala namang hardness masyado, salinity yung rain. Then increase of suspended solids, especially if the shrimp farms hindi siya liner, no? Lang siya earthen dikes and bottom. Okay, suspended solids due to the transport of soil materials from the dikes. This can cause also stress because this can hinder respiration, di ba? Kasi magdidikit yun sa gills, no? Yung mga suspended solids. Next, salinity gradient, there's stratification, no? Between layers of water with different salt contents. So dapat yung technician vigilant, pag grabe na ang ulan, dapat alam niya kung ano yung gagawin niya, no? Either operate full yung paddle wheel plus siya top drain to prevent salinity stratification. Okay, so what are the effects of rainfall? Again, for dissolved oxygen, Okay, so first increases and then decreases markedly. Then hardness decreases depending on the volume of the rain. Then so ammonia and H2S can increase 2 to 3 days. Why? Because of the die-off. It might not be total die-off of the plankton. Sometimes it's partial. But decomposition can give rise to ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. Not necessarily right after the rain. It's about 2 to 3 days after the rain. Then pH can drop to 6.7 outright. Then salinity decreases depending on the volume of the rain or the volume of the rainwater added in the pond. Temperature decreases 3 to 5 degrees and turbidity increases due to soil particles, which is the problem in earthen ponds. Okay, so let's go to indirect effects of rain. Abrupt drop crash in plankton could be partial or could be total crash, no? Just after or during the rains, populations of heterotrophic bacteria increases exponentially due to increase in nutrients from dead algal cells. Continuous drop in the level of DO depending on the time of the time. So high BOD also, biochemical oxygen demand by the bacteria and lack of oxygen can reach a situation of anoxia, especially if na timing dun sa molting process ng shrimps, di ba? Low oxygen, tapos nag-molt yung shrimps, no? Even if it's normal molting, can also cause stress to the shrimps because mababa yung oxygen during the time na nag-molt siya. Okay, anoxia in a very short time if there are no corrective measures. Then bacterial respirations produces carbon dioxide, which dissolves in water and will also lower the pH even more. Okay, so this chain of events, ending with low DO pH and low temperature, creates a very unfavorable environment for shrimp farming. That's why dito sa amin, meron parang seasonal pattern yung disease, no? Especially during rainy months, maraming like mortalities. Pero ngayon, they're coping up. May mga inputs sila. And they know also the art of when to apply and how much to apply. Then mortalities are due to sudden stress from the changes of wide fluctuation of climatic conditions. And during these times of stressful conditions, Vibrios typically dominate in the environment. Okay. So what are the management strategies that we implemented? So first, no, correct diagnosis. So this entails the laboratory as a tool to back up the management strategies of the grower. This would guide them, the results, what to do, when to apply, and how much to apply if it needs some inputs for corrective measures. So, but first, it must be correct diagnosis, no? Correct diagnosis for appropriate measures and application of the right inputs, to mitigate the problem. So, testing of the pond water and animals, dapat sabay. Hindi pwedeng pond water lang. Dapat sabay para alam yung degree ng ang situation sa pond. Sometimes, if earthen, kailangan din yung soil. Okay? Next, timely implementation of appropriate measures. Timely. Kasi di ba pag nag-lab tayo, usually 24 hours po yung bacteria. Paano kung yung result after 2 days pa na relay? Or yung grower, they forgot that they have to get the result 3 days na or 4 days na nakuha, no? So it's no longer timely. Marami nang nangyayari. So timely implementation of appropriate measures, better understanding of the disease and the pond dynamics is also a must, no? Especially kung sa shrimp culture. Kaya di ba capital intensive, hindi pwedeng hindi alam ng grower or technicians or also the lab yung pond dynamics, no? Para at least maka-generate sila ng more or less right corrective measures dun sa problem. Okay. So what about the water? No, application of disinfectants. Ito yung meron kaming ginagamit na PUR. When the count ranges of the VP in the water are 10 to the second or 10 to the third. Take note that yung data ko are all based on actual inputs dito sa sa amin. So application also of ProW. But now, it seems that parang hindi masyado tong sa other areas. So also, I would like to emphasize the site specificity of the area. Yung mga inputs cannot be sometimes, as I observe, hindi siya pwedeng ma-standardize or SOP na pag ganito yung situation, automatic 500 grams of the probiotic. Oh, no, because there are some areas which require more. So, like here, nakita namin with this input, ano to, okay to sa other areas, but no longer sa ibang areas. So, we tried again a combination. So, we have the BioPlus, I think this is CP, and then POW of biosolution, and it did work, no? Okay talaga dun sa area na yon. So, yung lesson is know the area, no, or know the site uh, before also recommending. Okay. And of course, you must have the basis, no, yung mga laboratory analysis. Then also dolomite to address low mineral and low alkalinity in the water, no? So how will you know this one? Check the calcium and magnesium in the water. And this one also check also through titration method. Next, hydrated line to address the change in pH, because if pH yung problema, dolomite alone or agri-lime can not solve the problem. So you must do a combination to address pH, minerals, and low alkalinity if three of these are the given problem in the pond. If if minerals lang and low alkalinity, okay na yung dolomite. Pero pag may pH na problem that goes with the low mineral and low alkalinity, kailangan yung lime na hydrated. Okay. So what about the inputs in the field? Now, during those stressful times, to prevent or somehow manage na hindi siya tumaas yung Vibrio para hemolytic sa animal. So, we did apply this one. Okay? So, all meals until the next lab result, which means na it's not a one-time analysis. Dapat i-monitor again after a week or after 5 days if your recommendation nag-okay. If not, you should also timely resort to another measures. Then, number 3, monitoring of the progress of the treatment and feedback. Di saan manggagaling yung feedback? Dun sa technician. No? Okay, so dapat may rapport yung lab and technician. Next, weekly analysis of the water and the animal, no? Especially if during summer or when the situation calls for it. Okay, so what have we learned during this time? So March until now, the positive to come out of this is the awareness of the need for prevention and testing, no? So kailangan talaga ang laboratory. Early detection can minimize losses for the farmers. And take note also that treatment is very difficult. Prevention is best. That's why monitoring is necessary. Now we go to technology innovation. So ito yung farm ni Sarosta, yung GJ Sarosta. This is one of the most consistent growers ano namin sa dito sa Negros, and one of the model farms. Kasi this is in where na merong first case ng AHP, no? Ano nga, yung sa that's 2017, no? And because of despite of the scary mga ano ng research na yung AHP matagal makuha, no, na cope up ang problem, and until now wala nang recurrence. And they also have problems of Vibrio parahemolyticus, luminous bacteria, white spot, but the year-end crop is always are always harvested yung mga ponds profitably. So ito yon. And they have now some ponds are already with plastic liners. And they are now expanding. May mga module 3 na sila, module 2. And one good impact is socioeconomic, no? They were able to sustain their workers na despite the pandemic, and yung mga contractual workers na nag-rely dun sa shrimp industry. One good thing na we are in the food sector, so hindi masyadong affected, no? Unlike dun sa other industries. Okay, so this is also some funds in C Corporation owned by the Sarosa. So take note na meron sila mga crab fence, kompleto sila sa biosecurity structures. Okay, so ito yung sa plastic liners to address pond bottom problems and seepage. It has been a fact that the buyers preferred the delightful color in shrimps reared in lined ponds. Gusto nila medyo parang black tiger. So this is what differentiates them along with the shrimps reared in earthen ponds. Usually yung dito has Bacolod, yung mga lined ponds commands better prices than the ones reared in earthen ponds. Tapos nag-aagawan. Okay, so biosecurity structures, as usual, ito yung common na makikita sa mga farms dito. No? Flumes are covered with nets to prevent entry of birds and crawlers. So, hindi lang yung ponds ang covered. They also cover the flumes with nets. Okay. So, then analysis of crustaceans before stocking. To ensure na walang mga possible host ng virus. So, before stocking, the grower sees to it that the crustaceans found in the canals and reservoirs are negative sa white spot. Okay, so this is during stocking. This is city style, no? Merong ano dito, parang tube na nilalagay yung fry. After that, i-release na sa pond using this parang tubo. Okay, so one grower uses EM na what's that? Environment, basta effective microorganisms. So he applies every day. No, ito yung nilalagay niya doon sa tabi ng ponds niya, yung mga drums. Tapos yung mga fermented na probiotic nilalagay. Tapos ina-open lang if it's time for application. So other products are Obeyer, this is Pan Plus, then we have Biosolution, then we have also CP. Ito yung mga commonly used probiotics. Okay. So during probiotic applications daily, so this is how they mix the added inputs to the feed. Ito yun. Okay. So at least 15 to 30 minutes prior feeding ang preparation. So this is also here, partial harvest using cast nets, 4 tons in 3 to 4 hours. Mga 8 to 10 people. Okay, so this is zero exchange or combination of closed and semi-closed systems. Next, most growers here already use roots blower to augment oxygen supply and very high stocking densities using plastic liners. Yan. Then, as part of the waste management, kasi dito yung DNR parang nagpaplano na rin na i-inspect. And also before, yung sila Lenny, mag-inspection, they are also very particular on the waste management of the ponds, of the farms, so which is, according to some grower, bakit nung dati wala, ngayon andito na, tapos may mga manual. Sabi ko, ano nyo na lang, i-comply nyo na lang kasi wala naman kayong magawa. Or else wala yung certification. So, very grateful of the new people, yung ngayon, yung mga sa B56, they are very stringent and rigid in their inspection and also dun sa, for the growers implementation, no? Dun sa mga list of requirements. Kaya naman problema ngayon yung mga grower kung paano gagawa ng manual nila alam. So ako yung gumagawa, akong problema. So this is how they construct the shrimp toilets or sludge pit. So ito yung during pumping of the waste, no? Usually 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes in the morning. Yan. So ito yung sludge pit. Next, they also allocate areas for the sludge plant. Ito yung sakay sa Rosa na farm, malapit sa mangrove area. Okay, so what are the problems and constraints? Based sa parang survey na ginawa namin. So, 70, so rank 1 yung disease, of course. Then, second, water quality. Then third, yung cost of feed, tsaka yung quality ng feed. So, ito yun. R&D, yung scarcity of quality fry. Okay, so what are the technological challenges? We need a technology package that can improve water quality of intensive farms, so and then reduce water consumption and minimize pollution. And especially in the use of deep well. Diba? Wini-withdraw yung tubig sa water table. Then improve FCR using quality feeds at reduced cost. And prevention and manage disease, especially during adverse conditions, like what I have shared a while ago, and lower carbon footprint. Okay. So, ito yung i-share ko lang yung sa lecture ni Robin. Usually, yung pinaka-efficient funds are the ones na 1,000 smaller funds, no? Okay. Okay, so possible solutions of the technical challenges that I have already mentioned could be biofloc technology, pero kailangan po talaga yung new breed of technicians, no? Kasi kailangan talaga i-understand yung fund dynamics. And yung kanina na sinabi ni Abby, yung indoor aquaculture facilities. Actually, there were several tries, no? Yung si ex-Governor Maranion have already tried in tanks, and he said it's already successful, and they're been on their third run. No? So there is much lower risk of disease with an indoor facility. Okay. So, ang nire-recommend ngayon, smaller ponds, bigger reservoir, with fish as much as possible sa reservoir. If you could remember kanina, yung natin, yung reservoir, mataas yung vibrio. So, given yung mga previous researches sa tilapia, could be one source also of addressing yung sa problem ng green colonies, yung mga unwanted vibrios, no? Yung mga pathogenic ones. Okay, so now we go to disease prevention and management. Okay, there's a need to strengthen laboratory facilities and diagnostic capacities. Okay kami dito kasi we have the co-op, but in far-flung areas, ito yung problem, no? So disease diagnostic labs and provision of mobile labs. And also, we develop a new breed of technicians kasi diba, tumataas yung stocking density. Dapat i-upgrade din yung skills and knowledge ng mga technicians. So in the future, shrimp farms will be more dependent on automation to save man hours. May mga, yung DOST, may mga research sila dun sa mga equipment na parang may mga, real-time monitoring, no? To save man hours and the water contamination, pero ongoing pa ngayon yung research. Okay. So what about market situation, product demand, and supply? No? COVID-19 pandemic is a global crisis which is already affecting the food and agriculture sector. The situation arising out of ongoing 19 pandemic, okay, and its possible immediate short-term and long-term implication on the shrimp industry is a big challenge to the industry sector. And it should strengthen food production and distribution system to sustain the industry. So in Negros, prices comparably are higher at 210 to 220 per kilo below 18 grams base 10. No, in contrast with other key producing regions, local market prices are higher compared to General Santos and Cebu, no, based on the data taken from the buyers. No. Logistic costs from Bacolod to transport mas malapit sa Batangas sa Manila. The products to Manila is lower compared to Mindanao and Cebu. Kaya wala kaming masyadong problema dito sa market. Then, yung online selling here strengthens. Ito yung mga mga pakulo na mga daughters ng mga growers, no. Malaki din yung tonnage a day na ma-absorb ng market. So to mitigate the risk of large shocks that would have a considerable impact on every sector of the shrimp industry, online selling evolved and expanded, providing fresh shrimps at affordable sizes. No, it's helping the local industry. So ito may mga announcements sila sa social media, sa Facebook na ito yung date ng harvest. So order now, tapos deliver nila. So may mga pa sila, advantages, no, ang shrimps nila. So it's a matter of the art of selling. Na ito yung another grower. So ano ba to? Okay, so harvest, July 22. Surprisingly, the use of social media developed an online presence and proved to be an effective way of introducing the nutritional benefits of the fresh and frozen shrimps. Like kanina, di ba? Nakita niyo. Ayan. Okay. So, farm to table. Ito yan. Baka pwede din kayong mag-order. Malayo kayo. So, current price, 215 to 220 base 10, below 20 grams, 210 base 10, 30 grams up. Bakit yung 30 grams up mas mababa compared doon sa 20 grams below? No, kasi yung preferred sizes ng market is dito. Pang-export kasi ito yung 30 up. Kaya minsan, pag nga 37 grams, parang pinipilit mo na yung buyer na kukunin yung shrimps mo. No? So based on our experience here, COVID pandemic is it's not the worst time dun sa industry natin. Okay, so thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,